Hi, I hope you're enjoying your copy of the Business Casual Yogi. It launched just this week on November 5th, and many of you have been receiving the book in the mail and started reading it. And even though I wrote the book and went through so many rounds of looking at the text over and over, I myself decided to read the book in book form. So after seeing it on screens, on electronic versions, on printed version off my printer, I found it's a completely different experience to actually read it in the book. And as I was reading it, I was remembering sort of things that happened along the way while I was writing the book. And I thought I would launch a video series to sort of be a companion to go along with your actual reading of the book. So I invite you to tune in to look for my videos on either Facebook or YouTube. And I'm going to share a little bit of insight as I go through my own reading of the book. So first off, what I want to talk about today was the cover design. So that was quite remarkable because the cover of the book was designed before the book was even written. I think the designer at Mandala Publications, all they had at the time was my table of contents. There's a table of contents, a book proposal that I had submitted of what my intention for the book was, who was the target audience for the book. And just with those bits of knowledge, somehow the designer was able to really communicate exactly the theme and the message and what we're trying to get across with the book. The idea that there's these people that are striving to improve themselves and all unique and individual and diverse in their own way, but fitting into these special uniforms that they're required to wear in order to be accepted and respected and credible in the business world. So the idea of the business casual being the style of dress that you wear, and yogi being who you are on the inside. So the title actually was quite controversial. The idea of business casual yogi makes complete perfect sense to somebody in the business world who's used to wearing business casual. But there are some concerns because people who are millennials, for instance, working in the tech industry in California now, they don't wear business casual. That's sort of a thing of the past. It's just, flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt to work, and that's no problem, casual every day. But for the older generation, especially the executive set, the idea of business casual has been around for a long time. The idea that, at one time we had to wear very straight-laced clothes. We had to wear a tie and a suit. And in a lot of my career, especially in the automotive industry where I was an executive, we wore a suit and tie to work every day. And on Fridays, we were allowed to go business casual. And that was the day you got to loosen up and relax a little bit. And the idea with business casual was that you got to express yourself a little bit more, still within the confines of the corporate structure and corporate environment, but you got to just be a little bit more free, a little bit more relaxed. And so the idea here is that yoga doesn't have to be this formal thing that you do exactly the way that one yoga teacher might tell you to do, but you can be a little bit casual about it. You can be a little bit more relaxed about it and learn and take on what applies to you in your particular life stage. So then the subtitle, Take Charge of Your Body, Mind, and Career, was sort of there was some debate around that, but the idea was how do we create something really active that says, hey, it's about some real concrete benefit for you. And so the idea of taking charge of you became the theme that emerged from that. And thank you to the Mandala team for brainstorming through that. And, body, mind, and soul is sort of the thing that goes along with yoga. Yoga is an exercise of your body, mind, and soul. And we sort of did a play on that, saying body, mind, and career, which, with the yoga principles, you learn to manage your journey through life. And that journey shows up in your family. That journey shows up also in your career, right? So the career is just one of the aspects of life in relation to family, in relation to health, in terms of personal development. There's lots of different areas of life that we work on. Being a child of somebody, being a parent of somebody, being a partner of somebody, all these different things happen in our life. But career is one of those aspects that becomes very important to us because it becomes where we feel like we express our meaning and purpose in the world, and where we also get financial benefit to take care of ourselves and take care of others. So then we, this was another big thing is the word business casual didn't make a lot of sense to the yoga community. And of course, Yoga Rishi Vishwaketu, my collaborator on this book, has a huge community of thousands of yoga students worldwide. And as we'd ask different yoga students, what do you think of the word business casual yogi? A lot of them didn't get it. And they're like, what does business casual mean? I've never come across that. I don't know what that means. And what is this idea of casual yoga? Yoga is a serious practice. And oh, by the way, I hate the word business. I'm a yogi and I don't like business people. So that became quite challenging. How do we bridge this gap with the business world, who clearly understands the idea of yoga as well? I guess the business world, who clearly understands the idea of business casual, clearly understands business casual, and then sort of understand yogi as some sort of a spiritual pursuit aspirant. And then the yoga world, who's like, I don't like business and I don't like casual yoga, and how do we resolve that? And so we want to stay true to the target audience of the working professional, while also providing insight and deeper knowledge for yogis. And so one of the things we did was let's turn off the fan here. It's starting to get cold here in LA, so I'm running a heater. But one of the things we did was on a few pages into the book, we actually put a definition of what is business casual and what is yogi. And this was something that came very late in the process. So we had to sort of add, and in a book you can't just add one page. You have to add pages in terms of 6. So if you want to add one page, you have to add 6 pages. And so we ended up having enough material that we felt was necessary to add, where we ended up adding 6 pages. And one of those pages ended up being this definition, where business casual sort of as it looked like a dictionary definition. And so I came up with a definition for business casual and a definition for yogi, which I thought was quite clever. And we made it look like a dictionary with the pronunciation guide. Now, what happened was the editor then pushed back on me and said, look, if you're going to make it look like a dictionary definition, it has to actually seem and actually be true to a dictionary definition. So we do need to look at business casual and yogi and see what the dictionary type definitions are and be consistent with those. So I couldn't just be fully creative. I had to balance the real, what is the real definition in common parlance and in the dictionary. So what we came up with is business casual is a style of outer dress for working professionals. And that is accurate. Business casual is a dress code. It's something that is required in many offices around the world, that when you come into work, you have to wear business casual attire. For men, that's a collared shirt and a tucked in shirt with pants. And for women, it might be a blouse and a skirt, or a blouse and pants, or a suit. So it's a style of dress that working professionals wear. Then it becomes difficult, because what about a yogi? And a yogi, collectively, yoga is a practice to connect to your inner potential. So a yogi is one who is trying to seek to connect to their inner potential, which is all of us, no matter what type of work we do. We are all trying to connect and manifest the fullest of who we are in our business and in our work. So, but the thing is, because it is yogi, it has to be through the techniques of yoga, which I didn't really even put that because I felt that's a bit alienating. There's a lot of people who are not yogis per se, or practice yoga, but they're trying to improve themselves, as many of my colleagues in the business world. But to stay true to definition, we ended up putting one who seeks their fullest inner potential through yoga. So that is just a wrap up of the cover of the book, the design, the color scheme you can see was something that was very attractive. The idea of this kind of bluish sky and grounded orange for sort of the earth elements, so combining earth and water elements in the colors. And then, of course, the definition of business casual yogi. So I'm going to keep going through this one by one, little by little. The next video I'll do is going to give you some background on the forward and preface, and then I'll keep going chapter by chapter. So hopefully, as you're reading this book, we're all reading at the same pace. Hopefully I'm reading, you're reading, and I'll keep sharing insights around the book, so that it's sort of a companion as you go on this reading journey. And if you happen to be coming across this video, down into the future when these have long been uploaded, and you're just coming to the book, please follow along and enjoy, and get some additional background insight into the book from the person who wrote it. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.